Welcome to this explainer. Listen, if you're settling in, maybe getting ready for a long flight, or just finally deciding it's time to take total control of your money, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're breaking down the exact mathematical and psychological roadmap to your first $10,000. If you're absolutely exhausted from living paycheck to paycheck and you want a truly deep, practical masterclass on building wealth from literally nothing, we've got you covered. We're going to thoroughly deconstruct the exact stages, the necessary mindsets, and the hard math required to build a financial foundation that will permanently change your life.
Okay, let's just dive right into this highly visceral starting point, zero. For a lot of us, zero isn't just a number sitting on a screen in a banking app, right? It's a physical feeling. It sits heavy right in your chest. Zero means that the next $500 surprise, a strange clanking noise your car starts making on the highway or a sudden painful dental issue, isn't just a minor inconvenience. No, it is a terrifying emergency that forces you to literally borrow from your own future just to survive today. When you're at zero, you are not managing your money. The complete absence of money is managing you.
And honestly, this is exactly why your first 10 grand matters so much. It is not about being rich, not at all. It's about fundamentally changing what a bad day actually costs you. Just look at this comparison for a second. We've got person A, they have $0 saved, their car needs an $800 repair, and boom, suddenly they are trapped in high-interest credit card debt and their next paycheck is already entirely eaten up before they even earn it. Now look at person B. They have a $10,000 foundation. That exact same $800 repair, it's just an annoying Tuesday. They pay it, they grumble a bit, and they move on. That 10 grand removes the constant, exhausting background hum of financial stress.
So, to get you to that point, we're going to climb a very specific staircase today. Step 1, the reality of zero. Step 2, the wealth building gap. 3, the first real milestones. 4, avoiding the 10K killers. 5, the system to 10K. And finally, step 6, beyond 10K.
All right, starting with part 1, the reality of zero.
So, a lot of people who repeatedly try and fail to save money think they have some sort of deep character flaw. They don't. You don't. You just have a missing system. Think of your first $10,000 literally like pouring a concrete foundation for a house. It is incredibly unglamorous. Nobody is out there photographing a flat concrete slab for their social media, right? It's invisible, it's boring, and it is time-consuming work. But the entire weight of the house of financial freedom you eventually want to build, the cool stuff like investing, the compounding interest, the life choices, it all depends entirely on this concrete curing properly. You simply cannot build a heavy house on loose dirt. Let's move right along to part 2, the wealth building gap. If you only take away one single concept from this entire explainer, please make it this one right here. It is absolutely the most important equation in personal finance. Let's look at a guy named Alex and his hypothetical budget. The math here is undeniable. If Alex brings home $3,000 a month but spends $2,950, his wealth gap is only $50. At that sluggish rate, hitting 10 grand takes over 16 years. Imagine grinding for 16 years just for a basic safety net. But watch what happens when we pull the levers. By trimming his expenses down to $2,500, he creates a $500 gap, shrinking that timeline to just 20 months. Now, pull the income lever. Say he earns just $300 more a month, and suddenly a 16-year impossible mountain becomes a 12-month highly achievable staircase. You have to aggressively widen your gap from both directions. All right, jumping into part 3, the first real milestones.
Listen, staring at the full $10,000 mountain from the very bottom is completely paralyzing. It's exactly why so many people just throw their hands up and quit by week 3. So we have to break this journey down into achievable micro stages. Your very first target? It's just $100. Seriously, forget the 10 grand for a minute. You can hit this $100 target this week. Go sell some unused gear sitting in the back of your closet, cancel that streaming subscription you literally haven't opened in 6 months, or take on one tiny freelance task.
Now you might be wondering, why just $100? Because this first 100 isn't about getting rich. $100 doesn't change your net worth in any really meaningful way, but it completely rewires your psychology. It provides tangible proof. It takes you from this helpless mindset of I can't save to the incredibly empowering reality of wait, I just did. It is undeniable psychological proof that you, yes you, are uniquely capable of creating a surplus. Once you've got that initial proof in your pocket, the next immediate step on our staircase is $1,000. This is where you actually start pouring that concrete foundation we talked about earlier. Hitting this stage finally buys you some real breathing room. But, and this is a massive but, this money must stay incredibly boring and completely uninvested. I see so many people make the critical mistake of throwing this first $1,000 into the stock market. Do not do it.
Imagine the stock market drops 25% during a really rough month, and at that exact moment, your car breaks down. If your emergency fund was invested, you are now forced to sell your investments at a major loss just to pay the mechanic. It's a disaster. Keep this $1,000 in a separate, easily accessible savings account so a sudden market dip doesn't wipe out your car repair funds.
So, you keep that momentum going, and soon enough, you're going to hit $5,000. At this point, the muscle memory of saving has really started to solidify. This is a genuine life-altering buffer. You are officially no longer one bad week away from absolute financial disaster.
And this brings us to a massive mindset shift that trips up so many folks. Let's say you hit that $5,000 mark, and then, life happens. You get hit with a $700 car repair, dropping your hard-earned balance down to $4,300. So many people view this as a tragic failure and just quit the whole system entirely. But listen to me. If your emergency fund absorbed that hit instead of a 24% interest credit card, this system worked flawlessly. That dip in your balance is a massive success story. You protected yourself. So whatever you do not give up when the fund does exactly what it was designed to do.
Moving on to part 4, avoiding the 10K killers. Now, before we push toward the summit,
We absolutely have to navigate the hazards that usually derail people right around month 7 of their journey. To make sure you have the specific battle-tested tools to fight off these traps and continue this deep dive education, make sure you subscribe to Langford Invests right now so we can keep climbing this ladder together.
Okay, let's really unpack these silent killers. The absolute most dangerous trap is lifestyle inflation. This is when you finally get a $400 raise at work, and it instantly transforms into a $400 monthly payment on a newer car. Your income went up, sure, but your wealth gap stayed exactly at 0. You're just running on a faster treadmill, but going absolutely nowhere. Add to that the crushing gravity of 24% credit card interest, which pulls you backward way faster than you can ever paddle forward. Then you have those oversized new car payments draining your monthly cash flow. Oh, and keeping your savings in the exact same checking account you spend your daily money from? That just makes it way too easy to justify emotional, "I had a hard day, I deserve this" purchases. Recognizing and avoiding these traps is completely non-negotiable if you want to win.
Which leads us perfectly into part 5, the system to 10K.
Knowing the traps is only half the battle. Reaching the top actually requires a rigid, automatic system. Listen, if you rely on sheer willpower to save money, you will lose. Why? Because willpower is completely depleted by 9 p.m. when you're exhausted on the couch and your credit card is already saved on your phone. So here's the exact system you need to build. First, set up a separate high-yield savings account and actually name it Foundation or Emergency. Give it a job. Second, automate your savings transfer to hit on payday morning. Move the money before you even wake up to have a chance to spend it. Don't wait until the end of the month to quote-unquote save what's left, because spoiler alert, there's never anything left. Finally, ruthlessly attack the big 3 massive expenses: housing, transportation, and high-interest debt. You will make vastly more progress negotiating your rent or avoiding a massive shiny car payment than you ever will agonizing over cutting out a $5 morning coffee.
And that brings us to our final step, part 6, beyond 10K.
You did it. You pushed through and you built your foundation. Now, let's be real. This doesn't mean you're suddenly driving a luxury sports car or retiring to a private island early. But what it does mean is that you finally have options. It is your very first solid platform to make proactive life choices rather than constantly relying on reactive panic. With 10 grand in the bank, you can now confidently tackle any lingering debts, you can start fully taking advantage of your employer's 401k match, and you can start properly funneling your monthly surplus into real, long-term investing without that constant, terrifying fear that you'll need to sell your investments just to fix a leaky roof.
But you know what? The biggest thing you built during this entire process wasn't actually the bank balance. It was your new financial identity. You literally proved to yourself that you have the discipline, the foresight, and the resilience to weather the storms. Earning that new financial identity is the true reward here, which leaves us with one final, incredibly exciting question for you to ponder. Now that the concrete is completely cured and your financial foundation is rock solid, how are you going to use these exact same skills to accelerate your wealth from $10,000 to $50,000?
Thanks for watching. If this gave you a new way to think about your wealth, subscribe to Langford Invests. Leave a comment below with the one savings move you're making this year, and I'll see you in the next one.